Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Isn't this a beautiful sight? Most of my decks, in fact all of the decks that I did not prep for the May 10th update have been now flagged as illegal to play. And of course, this isn't how they currently are. I took this screenshot yesterday. It's now May 11th. And I just wanted to enjoy this site for all of you. All right, on to Moto. So I got 3 games here for us. Let's jump over to the collection real quick. I picked up a few more cards that I've been adding. So you'll see I've trimmed a lot of the decks and updated my formatting a little bit. For the time being, I don't foresee myself working on Vendilion Click, and I've since deleted the Decklist in my Moto account. I do still have it on the Tapdot profile, so any of my old Vendilion Click videos with the Decklist in the description will still link to the correct location. I've removed it from Moto because I think in a little bit I want to take a second stab at it, and I want to sort of start from a fresh place. And I feel the best way to do that is to cut the Decklist and then sort of rebuild it from scratch and rededicate it. At a time being, though, I do believe that Wydwen is the more premier style of that general, because she has built-in evasion. Wait, I'm waiting for a Moto to load. So she gets built-in evasion. Here's the deck list. I do not have a tapped-out list for this yet. I'll be most likely typing one up after this video, and it should be in the description by the time. I'll edit it into the description because I want to set this to upload and process. And then I'll type it up in the meantime. So how Wydwen works, if you haven't seen the videos before, it's 2 blue-black, flash flying, 3/3 fairy wizard, blue and black, and 1 life to return Wydwen the Biting Gale to its owner's hand. So she is a commander with built-in tax evasion, so to speak, and a very premier control general because she has evasion, and you can play her on turns when you had left up mana for counter magic and didn't need it. Furthermore, she's very good at dodging some mass removal. Definitely some things that would be welcome in this deck that is don't have the budget for currently. Snapcaster Mage, Damnation, True Name Nemesis. I think those 3 cards would put me over 100 tickets alone. I think True Name's one of the highest right now, 54 tickets or something. I'd pick up a Wasteland before I pick up True Name Nemesis. And I still don't have the Wasteland. So this is the current list, and you'll notice the beautiful lack of Sol Ring and Mana Crypt. I am very happy with this change. I think it's going to be really healthy for the format. Currently, I believe I have off from my day job until the 16th. I believe that's Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. So I think I start work back up again Wednesday. So once I get my schedule, hopefully by the end of Friday, I may be putting up a live stream that I'll plan to do on Tuesday evening, most likely. That's U.S. Eastern Time. So just keep an eye on the channel. I'll update it at least 24 hours ahead of time, but as soon as possible. I am traveling over the weekend, though, so I'll be away from my actual machine. Alright, so this is the current deck list. The curve has really moved down. Some good stuff in there: Dark Confidant, Bitter Blossom, Demonic Tutor, Strix, Counter Squall. I picked up a Jitte. I realized they were like 3 ticks or something. I think the promo is a little bit cheaper. It was like 2.8 ticks, which is the right price for me. I picked up Fire and Ice. I don't know if this is correct or Feast and Famine. I've been going back and forth about them. Jitte is definitely worth the inclusion, I've realized, because it puts Wydwen at a 4-turn clock. 6 counters, it'd be 9 damage, 12 damage, 6 counters is 12, another 12. Yeah, 4-turn clock if Jitte is equipped for all 4 of the hits, which is a perfect position to be in. And that's a 4-turn clock using only using 1 less counter, so you can kill something that's in the way, potentially. Testing out this Ancient Excavation, which I think should be pretty good. The fact that it's an instant is the only thing that merits this inclusion, but it basically doubles your hand and then you discard half of it. And then you can basic land cycle it if you need some basics. So I've tuned the list. I have a Ghost Quarter in here because I don't have the Wasteland on Moto. And I hope this deck seems to work well. All right, let's jump over to the videos. I enjoyed it so far in the account. So far in the games. All right, Asmael. Asmael? Alright, so I had hosted a lobby initially, and Asmael joined. I do not win any of the dice rolls in this series, I believe. So let's pop out the commander, Karametra. And I see kind of one of the god opening hands. If I have one more land, like if this Glenalantra, which I foresee most likely being Force of Will fodder at the moment, because Karametras are mostly creature-based deck, and this counters non-creatures. So right now it's just Force of Will fodder. If this was a land, I would also be very happy, because I can pitch the Gilded Drake to the Force of Will or the Thirst. But I'm definitely going to keep this. I think it's a strong hand. Thirst helps me fix this hand if I get the third land, so I'm going to keep him. I do have the draw as well. All right, my opponent leads Plains Pass. I pick up Sophie, and for the people who aren't aware of the abbreviation, Sophie is Sword of Fire and Ice, S-O-F-I. If someone says Soph, S-O-F-F, that would be Sword of Feast and Famine. Those are the two most commonly played swords, so they're the ones that get abbreviations. I've heard Sword of Light and Shadow as Souls as well, S-O-L-S, Sword of Light and Shadow. So it's just the quick hand abbreviations that people use for jargon for these swords. The entire cycle, I think Body and Mind is so unplayed that it doesn't even merit having one. My opponent goes Thought Vessel turn 2. I'm going to push the Urborg out, and this turns off. I don't know why I didn't do that turn, and I could have played 2 mana for the Jitte without having to pay a life. A little bit of misplay there, but now I can tap Confluence for black without having to lose life to it. So now it's only half a pain land for me, which is pretty sweet. Commander Sphere. All right, so my opponent's doing ramp, but their commander does ramp. And this is one of the issues that I have with Karametra as a commander in her own right, is that she's at the point on the mana curve where you should have already been able to deploy your ramp spells and deploy your early creatures. But she does that more. I think if Karametra had read like a 2-mana god, which would have been really cool, whenever you cast a creature spell, search your library for a basic land card and put it into your hand, would have been awesome. I think she would have been viable as a commander, but she sort of suffers from this idea of you're either not doing anything because she doesn't generate true card advantage, or you're so incredibly flooded that you can't really get anywhere. The only other alternative is that you didn't get to Karametra because you didn't put it in enough ramp to get to 5 early enough, and then she can't carry you through the rest of the game. So she's trying to do too much in the wrong areas, and she doesn't do those things well enough. It's just so many strikes against her that I don't think she's a viable commander. So in a turn, I'm going to Thirst, paying no life, and I don't foresee myself needing Sophie this game, I believe. I think I pitched Sophie. And now that I have the Shackles, I'm foreseeing that Gilded Drake might be the Force of Will fodder, because Shackles is an objectively better card. Pick up a Talisman. I can also land that out, but I decide that this is the turn that I'm going to push Wydwen into play. Karametra, that's fine, and I'm going to get Wydwen down in the meantime. Pick up Unsubstantiate, new addition to the collection. Definitely enjoying it so far. It's basically Remand, but it doesn't draw a card, but it can bounce something in play. So I'm going to Jitte up Wydwen and go to town. All right, 3 commander. Farhaven Elf, and that doesn't really do anything to me. I can ignore it. And this is sort of what Karametra does. So my opponent ramped Karametra on turn 6, or turn 5, so on curve, but they were behind land drops. They missed one when they played the Thought Vessel, and I think when they played Commander Sphere. I think when they played Commander Sphere as well. And now they're ramping more. So they've done playing Karametra has not changed what they've been doing at all, and developed their game plan more. They're just continuing to ramp, which is why this is totally ignorable in my opinion. Pick up Counterspell, and I just feel like I'm in a god position at this point. So that was 2 strikes, 6 damage, and I realize I can jump up to a ton of damage this turn if my opponent taps out. Angel Serenity, that's going to, of course, hit Wydwen. I don't want to bounce her and then not be able to replay her immediately. Now, if I had the 6 mana, I might have considered that because I could bounce Wydwen, replay her, untap, and then Gilded Drake the Angel of Serenity, and then unsubstantiate the Gilded Drake, and then I would have a 5/6 flyer and Gilded Drake back to my hand. So I could bounce any creature to its owner's hand, so I could bounce my own Gilded Drake. And I saw that line, but I decided the mana's not right because I need one more to be able to do that. So I'm just going to delay the Angel of Serenity, and my opponent's probably like, "Oh, cool! I get to cast it again and get another land. Cool, sounds good." Thing is, I know it's coming now. I consume the Meek pretty good. I could have also cast that to remove the Gilded Drake. Don't really need to yet. And this is one of those really cool cards that works great in specifically Wydwen. It's Wrath that kills CMC 3 or less, can't be regenerated. Wydwen's a 4 CMC, so it usually kills a lot of flyers that would be blocking Wydwen, like little dorks. Birds, Bitter Blossom tokens, Thopters, destroys them all. My opponent pushes Angel of Serenity back into play. I'm going to counter it. My opponent draws and scoops the game. They know that, so you'll see 17 commander. They are dead on my next attack, and I got Jitte counters that turn. I decided to go all in that turn, the previous one, just to guarantee that Wydwen is 2 swings away from killing them. And I'm at the point where if they attack and go shields down at some point, even if they remove Wydwen, I can replay her on their end step and then attack. And it's really the strength of these flash flying commanders is when it's in my command zone, if I have the mana to cast it, they just have to assume I'm going to cast it. And if they don't, I just win. And I'm trying to put myself in that position if they can somehow make me have to bounce Wydwen back to my hand. But Asmael cannot do that. So the game's mine. A State of Dissipation is my opponent. And pretty cool. I think this was the Karador deck. I'm pretty sure I made some misplays in this one. So if I don't comment on them, feel free to point out. A very land-heavy hand, but it's not terrible. I have Preordain to help sculpt some draws, and I have Mana Leak and Miscalc to control the board a little bit, and here's Downfall if I get in trouble. I decided this is a keep. I only have the single blue mana, but Preordain should be able to find me some more. And I don't really want to go down to 6 against a graveyard combo deck, most likely. Evolving Wilds into a Forest, fine by me. And I'm going to sandbag this Urborg as long as possible because I want my opponent to fetch out their swamps and their black sources before giving them the black source, effectively. So I'm going to Preordain. I see Into the Royal and River of Tears, and I take some time on this, so you'll notice 24-54. I decide that I'm going to top both of these and put Into the Royal into my hand because I might want to use it as fodder for the force that I drew this turn, and River of Tears on top, mostly because I wanted to guarantee that I can get to a second blue mana for my opponent's turns. Alright, Into the Royal in my hand. My opponent goes Strangleroot Geist. I don't think I could care any less about that card. River of Tears, and I'm going to ship the turn back, and now I'm representing blue on my opponent's turn. Green Seeker, not going to spend a counterspell on that, and Rot Farm. Man, I really wish I had Wasteland in my hand right now. How backbreaking would that be, killing the Rot Farm? God. Top deck Strip Mine? Come on, one time? Nah, it's the Catacombs, guys. Alright, so I'm going to push that out and sit on my Hero's Downfall Force of Will, potentially. They go Marsh Flats into Savannah. God, what a read. I was hoping they were going to go for a scrubland, but they do have the 3 black sources. I think they played the Swamp earlier, right? No, they played a Forest. Strangleroot. So they have at least 2 black sources. They tap it on top for a sec, try to figure out. Ashnod's Altar is going to try to be pushed down. And even though I can be got by exactly Elvish Spirit Guide, I'm going to use the Miscalc here. Mana Leak has more utility as the game progresses, especially with the bounce land in play. And I can't let my opponent have a sack outlet. And a sack outlet as good as Ashnod's Altar. Sack a creature, add colorless to your mana pool. Not going to let that happen. They can grow the Strangleroot Geist. It can create a massive amount of mana, and Karador could be coming down, and then they just start replaying these things. Not going to let them have that. Green Seeker away Skursdag High Priest. Makes me even more happy that I got rid of a morbid enabler, so to speak, because then they would have 5/5 flying demons. Can't let that happen when I have a 3/3 flying commander that I intend to win with. get a remand. And now I'm in position. My opponent has a strip mine. I'm in position to be able to go into Wydwen this turn. Green seeks away Doom Traveler. Strangle Geist in. And I make a little bit of a misplay in the next few turns, I believe. So Wydwen's down. Pick up Toxic Deluge. Now, I could push this out now, but I would have to kill Wydwen. I could also bounce Wydwen in my hand, then pay 4 life. But my opponent's at the point there. 2 creatures, 3, 4, 5. This would undie, so 3, 4. Karador costs 8, so 4 off that would be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And be able to strip me off of most likely Urborg, because it's my best land. They might not, but it's a sort of a toss-up. They could also cut me off of blue sources. I could understand that. So they'd be able to play Karador, cut me off blue sources, or play Karador and play a 1-drop. If they get another white source, Doom Traveler could come down if I take that line. So then they would have Karador plus Doom Traveler, and I would not be in a fantastic shape. So I decide that I'm going to try to sandbag it a little bit. Hopefully they play Karador this turn, and I can do this line, bounce on my opponent's end step, save myself a little bit of mana, untap Toxic Deluge. It also gives me remand this turn as well. Eternal Witness. They commented in a chat earlier when I said, nope, not going to let you have this card. It's too good. They said, well, I'll have to try to get it back. And they gave me the read that they had Eternal Witness. And honestly, I don't think they should have. Make another little bit of a misplay here. I wasn't thinking of my lines. This deck's still very new to me. So my opponent picks up their Ashnod's Altar, and they crash in. They're tapped out here. I'm planning to deluge this on end step at this point, or downfall that on end step, because then I can deluge for 1, keeping Wydwen up. And I should have just done it, save myself 4 life. It almost mattered this game. So I imagine I'm at 18 instead of 14 here. How much better of a position would I be in? So Wydwen comes in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think that was correct. I could have also done Demonic Tutored for Jitte there, played and equipped Jitte and gone down to 0 mana open, because I do have the Force plus Into the Royal to stop something, or Force plus Mana Leak to stop Karador the first time. So it's conceivable that I should have done that and started to add up counters, but I didn't do that. So I deluge for 1. I want to clear out the board and get the Undying off of the threat level, so to speak, knowing that they have Ashnod's Altar. Doing this denies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. And they get 2 mana instead of 8 mana. So it costs 3. So now it's mana negative to play Ashnod's Altar and sacrifice Strangleroot Geist, instead of mana positive by 5 to play Ashnod's Altar, then sack their board away. And if they sacrifice Strangleroot Geist, I'm fine by that at this point. And I get Sword of Fire and Ice, and I absolutely should have gotten Umasewa's Jitte. And this is sort of why I've realized Jitte is probably the stronger thing to have. They are at the point that they might be able to play and recur Doom Traveler, and they have the sacrifice outlet in hand, so they'll be able to have a spirit to block me every single turn, as long as they spend their Karador recast on Doom Traveler every turn. Of course, they have another white source I knew about because of the Green Warden, Green Seeker. My opponent pushes Ashnod's Altar, plays Karador. I, of course, Force of Will it, and I get rid of the Into the Royal. Maybe I should have gotten rid of Ashnod's Altar. Jury's out. Or got rid of the Mana Leak so I could bounce it, Ashnod's Altar at a future point. Mistress Factory. Play and equip, and I should have kept Watery Grave open, so that way if they strip Urborg, I have blue-black to be able to bounce Wydwen. A little bit of it doesn't bite me in the butt, and it's just about optimizing that play a little bit. So, in with Wydwen, kill the Strangleroot Geist because it denies 2 mana instead of the clock. My opponent's at 11 Commander, so I'm going to kill him with Commander before this matters, potentially, unless I send every single bit to the face. But my life total is starting to matter, so I decide to destroy the Geist now. They strip me this turn. I'm going to float a blue. They pass their main phase. This means they're not going to go Karador, Strangleroot, and attack, which is pretty good for me. Karador and Doom Traveler, exactly the line that I was worried about. Wydwen in, sack, make a flying spirit, block. Fine by me. Knight of the Reliquary. So I realized I needed to tap them out this turn. And they're still going to have the white mana, unfortunately, because this Urborg lets Terramorphic Expanse tap for black instead of sack. So, woe is me. They still have Doom Traveler. And at this point, I'm just really hoping I can top deck removal. Lucky me, I pick up the Dismember that I've added to my collection. An attack. They sack Doom Traveler in my attack step. I'm going to kill the Spirit before blocks. Get him for 5. Fantastic. And I'm going to draw a card. Draw Venser. That has almost secured the game for me. And then my opponent cracks Terramorphic Expanse, gets some more white mana, replays Doom Traveler into the red zone. And we talked about this a little bit after the game. That if I think, what were they? I don't, oh, they were saying they should have gotten back Eternal Witness. And then used Eternal Witness to get, I guess, Doom Traveler, so they could put Ewit into play. I'm not sure what line they were taking, because they would have been able to play Ewit this turn. Like, play Ewit, get back Doom Traveler, play Doom Traveler. I guess that was what they were anticipating. So I'm going to animate Mishra's Factory and block the giant 6/6 Knight of the Reliquary that will kill me. And I'm at the point that I can't play Venser now. I have to use it to bounce the Spirit, because I lose this game to not bouncing that Spirit. I crash in, my opponent tries to do their trick, I Venser the Spirit, and my opponent concedes the game. This was definitely a little bit on the ropes. I made this, I should have been punished for this misplay, but my deck rewards me for bad sequencing and bad decisions, because the deck is chock full of removal. I got one more game. And this one's relatively quick, so I'll try to rush through it. This is against Siggy_78. And this is not my favorite type of game, so you'll get to see this here. Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger, big mana green. All right, so I jumped through my first hand. It was a single land and had Bitter Blossom, so it was iffy, but now I get a better hand that still has Bitter Blossom. Definitely going to keep it. See Thoughtseize on top, that I'll get to draw on turn 1. Play River of Tears, because I've played land, it'll make black, so I can Thoughtseize turn 1, play Strip Mine, and then I'll have black mana for Bitter Blossom on turn 2. I think this is going to curve out nicely. Opponent has a Forest. I'm going to Thoughtseize, and look at this hand. My god. All right, so they got Avenger, big mana, Cultivate, ramp, Reap and Sow, ramp / Disruption, I guess, and Ugin, big mana. So I don't care about either of their big mana because they're nowhere near it. They only have a single Forest. So after I get Bitter Blossom down, if they don't have another source of green, I'm planning to Strip Mine this. Even though it puts me behind, Bitter Blossom wins that race, hands down. If they can't get green mana, they can't deal with Bitter Blossom. If they can't deal with Bitter Blossom, this will win the game. I believe it's 8 turns. I think the math works out to. And I mean, it's risky, but Bitter Blossom's a very, very, very powerful Magic card. So my opponent goes with Strip Mine, doesn't strip me, and I think that's because they realize they need all of the lands they can get. So clear the Strip Mine, pick up Tech Edge. So I'm going to push this Strip Mine out myself, sort of give a warning, and I'm hoping that this will kind of bait their Strip Mine onto my Strip Mine so I don't take away their green mana, which I would not fault my opponent for, because if I untap and they don't have green source, I will kill that Forest. You have my Hollow, but they've top decked a Coalition Relic in the last couple turns, unfortunately. So they're going to be able to get the green sources, and now I just need to save this Strip Mine. So I get Underground River, so I'm going to play that out because I want to have an alternate source of blue or black, and this will disincentivize stripping my colored sources. And it's possible I should have stripped there, but I really want to try to cycle some cards out of my hand with Thirst for Knowledge here. Sylvan Library, so I'm going to Thirst in response, make it look like I'm looking for Force of Will. I mean, if I get Force of Will, I probably will counter this. Unfortunately, I get triple land, so I agonize over this decision for a sec. Even though I like the idea of a Tech Edge line, I have the Strip Mine, and I can't really afford to put myself that far back against Coalition Relic. So Tech Edge isn't going to be the play, and I pitched the Swamp. It's the objectively worse of the remaining 3 lands. This is Watery Grave, this is a better color. And I have black sources already. I'll have 2 black sources between this and the Watery Grave. So I'm not in any danger of needing black sources. pick up Fact or Fiction, start my clock with the Fairy Rogues, and that would be the first turn of 8 there. My opponent is going to Reap and Sow Entwined my River of Tears. So I think for a sec, I decide I'm going to let it go. It's possible I should have used Fact or Fiction in response, but I may want to use Essence Scatter. But, oh no, they tapped out. I should have done this in response, make it look like I'm looking for Force of Will. Because if Force of Will is in the pile, they're more likely to adjust how they split, because Force of Will could counter that. They get Mosswork Bridge, though. I was worried it was going to be something like Cavern of Souls that forces me to use this Strip Mine, but this is nothing to me. It doesn't affect me at all at this point of the game. It's trying to... I guess it's card advantage in mono green, but, I mean, you got a Sylvan Library, dude. I'm blue-black. I can't deal with this short of bouncing it. You don't need a card advantage land. You need something that keeps me from stopping Vorinclex. Although, I wouldn't blame them for naming Elemental and getting Avenger down and then playing a land as a special action to grow the plants. Misty Rainforest gets my Watery Grave, and I'm going to shock myself. I don't think life's going to be relevant in the long run. Fact or Fiction. My opponent starts playing around with this. Oh, there we go. Covered it up. Puts Command Tower on Unsubstantiate. I'm like, absolutely, I will take both of them. Then realizes they should put the worst land with the Unsubstantiate because this is likely what I want. I do want the land as well, and honestly, I think they should put the island with it. You should have. My opponent should have put the basic land instead of the rainbow land. But this does do damage to me, I guess. Still, island would have been better with Unsubstantiate. So I get not the worst pile, but they did make me take the 2. So that when you can make your opponent take 2 with Fact or Fiction, I guess that's the best you can ask for, right? So I get the 4 mana up, and now I'm just planning to sit on Wydwen here. My opponent puts some mana into Garruk Wildspeaker. Interesting. I would thought for sure. So 4, 5, 6, 7. I thought for sure this was going to be Avenger of Zendikar this turn, and it was going to make me have to burn this Essence Scatter. Or no, burn the Essence Scatter because I need Mana Leak to stop Ugin permanently, and Unsubstantiate to target Vorinclex, followed by Vendilion Click to remove Vorinclex from my opponent's hand. Was my really intense line here. And during my end step, or my opponent's end step, I'm going to put Wydwen back into play. And my opponent, you'll notice, time just dropped off their clock. They went AFK, and I messaged them directly, and I put in chat, hey, did you forget Wydwen had flash, and you're just letting the round time out? You can check their profile. If you click on their name in chat, you can look at profile. They didn't get DC'd or anything. They're just sitting online. Fine by me. I made sure to say in private chat that doing this is a reportable offense, and it is. It's just as reportable as if you're sitting at a GP or a PPTQ. You're sitting down at the table, opponent doesn't like what you did, they stand up, card's still on the table, just walk away. Like, that is a judge call. Judge, my opponent walked away from the table. These are his cards right here. What do I do? Like, do I do something? That would be speaking to the judge at a GP or the PPTQ in my scenario. But this is a reportable offense. It is against MTGO terms of service. You're not supposed to abandon games that are in progress. If you feel like you lost or you don't want to play the game, you should concede the game and be a good sport about it. Like, you can say, oh, man, I forgot Wydwen had flash. That really beats me. And I think they played Garruk thinking that, oh, well, they'll get at least 2 turns of Wit Fairies attacking that instead of my opponent. I just have Wydwen to be able to play, attack Garruk with Wydwen Fairy, 2 fairies at my opponent, drop them to 17. And then I don't even have to care about commander damage. I just have to care about damage my opponent. So they can play Vorinclex. I'll just drop Vendilion Click into play in response. And then Mana Leak, or maybe Mana Leak the Vorinclex and drop Vendilion Click into play. Then I have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage coming in. And my opponent is at the cast Ugin or bust. And I would have a Mana Leak, or if I unsubstantiate the Vorinclex, that'd be it. Because I need the Mana Leak to deal with Ugin. Either way, whatever they play on the following turn, So let's math this out. Kill Garruk, put it this turn, put it my opponent to 17. They I have 5 mana open, pass. They cast Vorinclex. I Essence Scatter plus Vendilion Click. They strip me first. I float mana and cast Vendilion Click. And then I leave up Unsubstantiate or Mana Leak. My opponent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7. So if they have a land drop, they have 8 and they can cast Vorinclex or Ugin or Avenger. And they can cast basically anything. So let's assume they have the land drop. Garruk's dead. I get to put them to 17 and play Vendilion Click and stop whatever it is. If it's Ugin, I just get to hard mana leak it and it's gone. If it's Vorinclex, I can Essence Scatter. If it's Avenger of Zendikar, I Essence Scatter. And then I Vendilion Click, remove Ugin or Avenger, whichever's left in their hand afterwards. That said, if it's Ugin, I can just Unsubstantiate and then click the Ugin away. If they strip me ahead of time, I float the mana, click them, remove Ugin, and then they'll probably be forced into playing Vorinclex, and I mana leak it. My turn, I get 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. I would have gotten 1 from this turn that I attacked Garruk, so 10 damage coming in. My opponent's to 7. They cast anything. As long as I kept Ugin from entering play, and I didn't see anything terrifying in their hand, I can sit on Unsubstantiate, Mana Leak, or Essence Scatter, whatever was remaining, and attack them for lethal the following turn. And lethal would be Click plus Fairies, Wydwen plus Fairies, or all of them. And there's not much my opponent could do from this point. But they did timeout, and that is, I think you can report for unsportsmanlike conduct, I think is the one that I've recommended and done reports for this under before. Siggy78, if you're watching this video, I just want to let you know, maybe you were having connection issues, but according to MTGO, you were online. So I'm sorry if there was a misunderstanding, but leaving a game in progress and just letting it time out because salt that you forget about Flash is my reading of this situation. That is a reportable offense, so I did report you for it. All right, so let's jump over to something else really exciting. We have reached 512 subscribers, and I'm super excited about this. My goal is to reach over 500 subscribers by June, because that was my New Year's resolution, so to speak. I sort of set it at a half year as a good waypoint. Reach and we broke this about a week ago, right after the big changes video. And I'm super thrilled about it. The channel's growing, and you guys are absolutely fantastic, for guys and girls, absolutely fantastic for getting involved in the channel. I love reading your comments, looking at your deck lists, having my misplays pointed out to me. It does make me a better player, and I'm hoping that this content that I provide to you, even though I know I ramble sometimes, can provide a good litmus test for what to think about as you play through a game. How can you optimize your deck and make you a better player, whether you're multiplayer or you are a 1v1 person at heart. So the final thing I want to talk about was besides the subscriber count, big thanks for that. I'm just honored that you got that 512 people like hearing what I have to say about this format. It's a huge thing, and I'm really humbled by it. But the final thing that I had was talking about this ban list change. I don't want to talk about the announced for the set that's coming out in June and how they're going to split the online format. I don't really care about it yet, and I'll cross that bridge in maybe a month. I'll talk about it, or maybe a couple weeks. But I think that this change on MTGO is going to be a really healthy change. I think we're going to see quite a few decks develop in the metagame. I think blue-green X decks are going to take a huge hit from this, losing Survival, losing Cradle, losing the good blue spells like Mana Drain, losing the fast mana. Rashmi took a big hit, but I think the list is good. I have updated on my tapped out. Let's jump over to that real quick. I have updated Rashmi, Meren, Yisan, Click. Yeah, I've updated all of them. So on Click and Yisan, let's go to them real quick. So you'll see I've posted in the description no longer valid, Yisan no longer valid. I've archived the decks as well, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys are able to still see the decks, but when you click on them, you're aware that I'm not currently updating them from this point forward. If I revisit Vendilion Click in the future, which I think I might, I'll probably be making a new list and posting it as a new deck on my tapped out profile. I have updated Maren and Rashmi to reflect the ban list updates, and it's a good looking deck. I cannot wait to run some Maren games. I think this is going to be the league deck that I want to test out, maybe on the 16th. So keep an eye on the channel for that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video to anyone you think might enjoy my type of content. As always, let me know in the comments down below what misplays I've made, and I'll see you all in the next one.